Most players in Division 2 would agree that, as a whole, skills are just not very fun. And by as a whole, I mean all of the skills together, not just a specific single skill that you may enjoy all the time. Many of them could just be removed and nobody would even notice. This is why you see such a large portion of the community obsessed with cluster seekers, or only using assault turrets and revivers and chem heals, but pretty much just avoiding every other skill in the game. For this video, I do want to keep it short. I don't want to get hung up on the many issues I have with them because I can honestly just go on for hours. Plus, if I go into too much convoluted detail, the issues that I'm actually trying to make will just get buried under irrelevant points. So, I'm not trying to ruin builds, and I'm not trying to make OP skills. I'm just trying to point out why the system fails. With that said, please remember to drop a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Now let's get into the two biggest issues that I have with skills in this game. For those of you who might be unfamiliar with the threshold system, it simply means that for skill mods to work, you need to have the listed skill power, or higher, to activate the mods. This system is bad for a simple reason. If you want to make a build, you need to have so many skill mods to meet the needs of any specific builds that you're actually trying to make. If you have 6 or soon even more loadouts, you must either make sure that you have all the same skill power, which is rather boring, or you must farm for hundreds of versions of the exact same mods to ensure that you have ones that are more relevant to your build's current skill power, which is also what I refer to as hoarding. This system is insanely limiting to skill builds because it mandates much more farming on the part of anyone who actually wants to have different types of skills over someone who just basically runs DPS builds. No other build has such an additional layer of terrible RNG applied to their builds. It is insane that after 700 plus hours, how many mods I still actually need to find. I mean, most of my skill power doesn't even need anything even close to the cap because I just don't have good enough mods to use higher skill power. Which, again, after 700 plus hours, is insane. Some of my builds have no reason having anything over 2300 skill power because I just don't have the right mods. Some of them can make use of 2700 plus, but not many. And in some cases, only one of my 3 mods is actually hitting that 2700 cap to get full use out of my mod slots. I can't even imagine skill players who are actually new to the game or play on a more casual basis finding this system good. I mean, to me, I think they would be just completely put off by this fact. Not to mention the entire leveling process that ensured you never really got anything above 5% skill haste or even 10% damage. I mean, those were good rolls back in when you first started playing through. But I mean, that's all you had back then. Skill mods from the 1 to 30 system were just dog shit. And it's not until World Tier 5 that you actually get mods that really mean anything. Which means that going through the game, you're completely just and utterly discouraged from being a skill build. This system is the most redundant grinding experience and aggravating crafting endeavor I think I've actually experienced in a video game. And it is such a time vampire that I really just lost interest in finding skill mods altogether. I don't want to sit in my inventory comparing mod after mod, deciding how much separation I need between mods. Trying to find a balance between holding everything or holding one mod of each 200 skill power difference. It is really just absurd, and God forbid the day they decide to boost gear scores, offer higher skill power caps, or whatever regrind everything bullshit they might do later. These mods are essential for skill builds, and yet they're the worst thing to farm for in the game. Now, Division 1 kept it pretty simple. Yes, it had multiple mods, but they were not skill power dependent. They simply buffed the skill by a set percentage. It had its own issues, I'm not going to lie. Division 1 definitely did. And I was a vocal critic about some of the things in Division 1 when, the game was actually active. But in the system that the mods were, they worked. They provided the slight benefit without being the only source of skill improvement, and skills were not worthless without their mods like they are in Division 2. The second issue that I have with the current skill system is the misleading perception of choice. Yes, the system has dozens of mods, but the vast majority of them are clearly inferior to the main roles that you actually want. If you have a damage skill, the game has pretty much defined your skill as needing 2 damage mods and a haste mod. There's definitely some small amount of variation, but it's very little. If you were using a healing skill, it is pretty much also just going to get a healing mod and haste mod. This is because the limited selection of mods all but ensures that damage and healing are all that matter. None of the minor benefits that skills have, or could have, are provided in equal standing with the major roles for skills. It is like choosing 10% reload speed or 20 extra rounds in a magazine. Very few people, if any, will choose the reload because it is just statistically inferior to the increased ammo size. This is why, for example, the changes to Seekers are kind of meaningless in TU6. Adding 20% damage but dropping a Seeker just really allows people to spec into an additional Seeker slot at the cost of the damage roll that they had before. I mean, it really doesn't do anything to combat the one-shot Seeker spam. They're not doing anything to actually fix the system. That's pretty much the biggest issue. Just like how buffing the duration on every skill to 300 seconds only removed the need for duration builds. All it did was allow builds to ignore the things that once balanced skills and simply focus basically just on max damage. I'm not against fully speccing into skill damage, but that investment should not be without negatives. But because of the overly simplified slot system, limiting the amount of diversity, the lack of beneficial choices, and the lack of skill power influence, this system will never fully reach a point that allows skills to do anything fun or interesting. It ensures that for skills to function, all skills regardless of skill power must have a strong minimum in most areas, which directly results in the very typical skill build selection that we currently see. Now, there are many ways that the current system can be improved. It is only a matter of the devs actually committing to those fixes. As of now, they seem to feel that the system is fine if they just give novel boosts. With future content, the system will only get worse. And if the day comes that we ever see a World Tier 6 or further, who knows, the 3,000 skill cap is going to be a nightmare. And the longer they go on just handing out these buffs to make skills easier to use or to compensate for the lack of choice, the worse the system is going to feel. They have already realized that handing players a huge spike in skill damage has pretty much nullified most of the content difficulty. And they should have already known that taking that back or trying to rein it in would only be met with a lot of rage from the skilled player base. The only good option is for them to just stop artificially manipulating the stats of skills soon and installing a system that allows players to actually choose the versatility that they seek. If I want to have a 30-second turret that hits like a truck with a 40-second cooldown, why the hell not? If I want a Seeker that does less damage but crawls up an enemy's leg, let's do it. This half-hearted, there are 3 things you can adjust BS needs to die.